Hello everyone and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Today I'm going to try some of the landing challenges. Because I haven't played this sim for so long, let's go for some of the famous ones. And the first one I'm going to attempt is from Dune to Helgoland, and we are using the Diamond Aircraft DA40 today. And I'm checking out the world top 10 scores around about 2 million points. We're not going to get to those dizzying heights, but I'm looking to score an A grade if I possibly can. So we're aiming for 72 knots on our final, and I forgot how fantastic this Diamond aircraft really is. It's got these little short wings, but an amazing cockpit with fantastic views. So we're aiming to just make our left turn after this ship, and what better way to chill after a busy day at work than doing some landing challenges here on Microsoft Flight Simulator. Let's see if we can pick up any hints and tips and see where my weaknesses are. I know when I did the landing challenges when the game was released for the first time, my big problem was wandering about on the centre line of the runway. I would deviate too much to the left and right and not stick down the centre line. So let's see how we do today and see if I am any better than I was back then. Now I'm going to show you the entire descent first of all, as we figure out where the runway is and just get our eye in for this landing. But if I need to attempt this again to get my A grade, I will edit it down so you're not watching the entire thing. But this part of the world looks so cool. In some ways it kind of reminds me of a Caribbean island, but I'm sure they don't have Caribbean weather. And it kind of puts into perspective how small the place is when you see how large that wind turbine is on the left. So the runway is just in front of us at about the 11 o'clock position, directly behind the lighthouse on the beach. You can see it there, and the little blue pad on the runway is our landing target. So I think we're doing okay here. We're coming in at 75 knots, which is what they asked for. I do feel like I'm a bit low this time, but honestly this one is just getting our eye in, trying to figure out a strategy for doing this next time. Definitely we need to have more altitude coming in. I wonder what those big blobs are on the beach. They're a little strange. We have this massive tree in front of us, and of course I need to be much higher next time. Very light winds today, which makes our landing fairly easy. Let's have a go here. We just about did a wing strike, and we certainly didn't land on the centre line, but let's just bring it down gently, pull it back to the middle, and maybe they won't notice that was a bit rough. Well, 600,000 and a grade C for the first landing. Not too bad, I suppose. The precision was decidedly average. The ground roll was extremely bad. That was the bit I was telling you about that I was not good at. And the landing smoothness was just okay. And actually I just about got a B grade for that. So not too bad at all. Let's see if we can just step it up and do a better job this time. Now you notice that my altitude is much higher. I'm now sitting at 1200 feet as we make the left turn round the ship below us. And I'm very conscious this time that I want to keep the nose high, to keep the speed down, and we're doing okay, 96, 95 knots making the turn here. Okay, my angle of attack is looking much better this time. We've just passed the 500 feet threshold and my speed is a little bit high. We're still in the mid-90s. But we need to try and get this down to about 75 for landing, but we're getting there. The flaps are definitely helping us. We're going to clear the tree and we'll cut the power back and just bring our nose up ever so slightly if we need to, just like this, to bring down the speed. 75 knots, pretty good. Oh, we floated just a little bit past the landing pad, so it's certainly not going to be a perfect score, but that felt much better than the first attempt. Felt much more confident that time. Let's see how we did. And we got a grade A, not bad, 1.2 million of a score. I will take that. The precision was much better, and the ground roll, my normal weakness, was near perfect. Landing smoothness could do with a bit of work. I did feel like that was a little rough, and we definitely cleared the 1 million point threshold to get into the category A landing. So I think we'll move on to the next landing challenge, and this is one I'm not really looking forward to because this one is the Airbus A320 and we're going to be landing in Brisbane, Australia. I do not know if I'm going to get a grade A for this. This might take a couple of attempts. I believe the runway is over in this direction a little bit, and if we just gently bring the plane down, we'll get through these clouds and hopefully we'll have a better view of what we have to do. And as we descend beneath the cloud layer, we can see the runway in front of us. We're not really sitting at the best of angles. I should have really ran the plane much further towards the river before I made my turn. And I really struggle with these big planes. I'm either going way too fast or way too slow, and the plane is plummeting from the sky at a scary rate. And I tend to probably fly these things wrong, because I always feel I'm using my throttle just to keep the plane up and give us a bit of altitude, which is probably not the way to do it. But again, for the first attempt, we're coming in gently. We're doing this nice and smoothly, no dramatic turns at all, just a little bit of rudder and a little bit of lean to bring us into the landing zone. Now you can see the landing zone is just where the lights are on the runway there. And they're telling us we're a little bit high at the moment, but that's okay. I want to get past all the trees and all the other obstacles, just clear of the runway. And again, my style is always that I probably bring the planes in a little bit too slow, and we do drop quite quickly, and you can see that happening already. So let's just add a little bit of power. Let's pitch the nose up slightly. Let's retrim the controls. Now I don't know what's going to happen when we kill the power on the threshold here. In a little general aviation craft, this would glide along, but yeah, as expected, we dropped like a stone, and that was a super rough landing. The passengers will not be happy about that one. Yep, as expected, not a great score at all. I'm really not that great with these commercial planes whatsoever. Let's give it another try. Now I'm going to learn that we're going to fly a little bit further, try and get closer to the city in front of us, and this time I've made a real effort to keep the speed up. I think I came in at much too gentle an angle the first time, so we want to come in from a little bit more of a height. This feels pretty good to me. And the runway is just over there where we're looking just now, so it feels like the time to turn, and you can see the end of the runway right there to our 2 o'clock position. There's the beautiful city of Brisbane on the left hand side.
2,500.
Now time to cut the power slightly. And again, I'm intentionally keeping the nose high just to keep the speed down. If I can keep this round about the 140 mark, that would be perfect. And if we land just about 120, 110, that would probably be ideal. So let's pitch down, have a look at where we are, check our positioning. do have to say this is a really stable and very easy plane to maneuver. It's just the controls. I need to spend a bit of time just finding out what style I need to develop in order to fly these properly. I'm pretty sure the way I do it here is not the best practice. Alright, this is looking much better. So we're just adding a little bit of speed, and I've taken a bit of the flaps away because I felt like it was holding us back a bit too much and making us drop too quickly. Our height looks good, our positioning looks good as well. Let's just take it nice and easy. Let the plane do all the work. And again, I feel a little bit like the plane is falling a bit too quick, so let's pull the nose up a little.
100. 60.
Or maybe 50, a little bit low.
40.
Let's
30,
bring it down.
20. Retard.
We're not going to be so smooth on the landing, but we've hit the target pretty well. Let's try and roll to a gentle stop using the smallest amount of brakes and see what they give us. Well, a grade C there, much better, 466,000, but certainly nowhere near the 2 million perfect scores that are out there. I think we'll move on from that one to something I'm a little bit better at. So we didn't get an A, but that's one I'm going to have to practice a little bit. And we're going to use the Cessna 172, and I'm currently sitting on a grade C for this. I probably have only done this landing once or twice, and I really don't remember anything about it. So let's see how we get on today. And one of the first impressions of this plane, especially after just being in the A320, is how incredibly bumpy it is, especially at the very start of the flight there. It's settled a lot now, but going through that valley of trees, it was super bumpy. So just, if you're doing this for yourself, just go with it. Don't try and fight it too much. Let it bounce around, and then you will come out of the other side of that little pocket of air. You can see our speed is fluctuating a little bit in the winds, but our altitude is good. We're sitting on 1,400 feet, and no runway lights to use, so we're just going to do this one by our gut instincts and our feelings. So again, I'm just pitching up a little bit because I felt like we were dropping kind of quickly there. I want to keep a reasonable amount of speed going. I'm going to shave a little bit of the speed off, and now at this point we'll let it come down, and we floated a huge distance that time. That was a little struggle to get down. Let's pull up and see what they thought of that one. And we've got a B this time. We're sitting on 987,000, and again it was the landing smoothness that let me down. So we're aiming for 100 knots through the valley and then a 70 knot final for landing. Well, I've not had a chance to say it yet. Hope you've had a great day and you've had a good week as well. It's so good to be making content again after a little bit of a break that I had for the month of January. I decided to take January off just to regroup and think up some new video ideas and actually just have a chance to make some videos and get some content edited as well. And so although I've said it in previous videos, you maybe haven't heard it, that I've decided I'm going to take the months of January and June off, and that will mean that I will basically produce content for 10 months of the year with 2 months of a break, just to allow me to catch up with some of my content, some of my editing, my voiceovers and all of that type of stuff. So you might have wondered where I was for a little while. It's been so long since I made some YouTube content as well, especially in this sim. I have to say it really feels good to be back. And that landing was almost perfect in terms of positioning, but I do feel it was a touch rough again. I'm going to have to practice the landing smoothness because it is holding me back. We got an A that time and we got just over 1 million points. Not bad at all, but look at that smoothness. If that was up there with the ground roll and even with the precision, that'd be an amazing score. So let's do it one more time. I'll just show you the final approach and let's see if we can iron out some of these imperfections when I'm landing the plane. I actually know what I'm doing wrong. I know I should be putting down the rear wheels first and pitching the aircraft up a little bit more and then gently bringing down the nose, but I don't know. It's easier said than done. When it gets into the heat of the moment, I feel like I'm landing the plane far too straight and I'm landing it fairly rough, and it may be because I'm bringing the plane down too slowly and it's dropping too much. Well, this attempt is already a massive failure, so let's try it one more time. This time is looking much better. You can see the plane is bouncing around quite a bit in the winds here, despite the windsock hardly moving at all. We're going to be good on the target here, are we? Yeah, that's pretty good. But was that a smooth landing? I am not convinced. I think it was better than before. But is it going to be good enough? 1.3 million. I'm getting better. Still need to work on the landing smoothness though. That is certainly a weakness. But time to move on to the next one. And this is going to be the final landing challenge of the video. We're going to use the Beechcraft King Air 350, which is a bit of a big beast, and we're landing in Ecuador. Well, it looks like a beautiful day here in Ecuador, and look at these views. Look at this little river and these mountains in the background. They look incredible. I think this one's going to be quite tricky because it sets you up at really quite an angle. Now, knowing what I know now, I would have probably stayed left and then I could have made a more sweeping turn towards the runway, but this is our practice one. Let's sit up a little bit higher in the cockpit so we can see out, and we will check our altitude here. I'm definitely doing my usual trick of being far too low for this first approach. And probably running it a little bit fast as well. Still going about 107 knots. 500. We'll cut back the power and full flaps. I managed to recover it not too badly. There's quite a bit of bouncing going on, and let's see how we do here. Yeah, we floated quite a bit past our target zone. The smoothness felt actually alright there, apart from the accuracy of the landing zone. That didn't feel like too bad a landing. I actually don't know if I've ever flown this plane before. And our score of 825,000 and a B grade isn't too bad. But yeah, the precision let it down that time. The smoothness was much better. So let's give it another go. And I think this time, yeah, I'm going to definitely aim a little bit more left. We'll pitch left just a little bit more so that when we turn right, we've got a nice straight run into the runway. Speeds are a little bit high at about 120 knots, but we can deal with it. And I do have to say I'm quite a fan of this plane as well. This feels really, really nice to fly, and it does feel like a big plane, but it is very manoeuvrable, I have to say. Just under 100 knots, 500 feet from the runway. We're crabbing this one in a little bit. Let's straighten it up if we can. While we hit the landing zone, I do feel this one is maybe an A grade. It's maybe a little bit better than the last time. Fingers crossed. Oh yeah, 1,000,000 points just into A grade and no more. And again, when the precision comes, the landing smoothness goes. I can't seem to have both of those happening at the same time. I can definitely have one or the other. Just before you go, let's have one last attempt at that to see if I can just do a little bit better than the 1,000,000 points. I've kept the plane much higher this time because again I think that's my downfall. I do think descend much too quickly and then I'm running out of momentum when I get to landing. But I suppose these landing challenges are kind of difficult because you have to have the plane fairly low down because you've got to hit those targets bang on the mark. Okay, we're down at 500 feet. Our speed's about 90 knots, which I'm happy with. We don't seem to be experiencing the same number of bumps. It seems a little bit more steady. A little blip of throttle there just to keep us up. A little bit more, and down we go. Oh, we missed the zone ever so slightly. We did a little bit of a leftwards wander. Hopefully it was smooth enough that we're going to salvage a good score. 1.1 million, a little bit of an improvement, I suppose. Not quite the score that I was looking for, but nonetheless, a grade A, and given I've not played this sim in such a long time, I suppose that is not too bad going at all. I always think when I hit the recording button and start to make footage, I usually perform worse. Thank you so much for watching the video today. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully it might be of some help to you when you're doing the landing challenges for yourself. I'm certainly no guru, as you can see, but these things are a lot of fun and they're a fantastic way of improving your landing skills. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and of course subscribe if you are new to the channel. Most importantly, have an excellent day, and until the next one, take care.